Hey everybody, welcome back to another video, and in today's video I'm going to be fixing everything wrong with my 2013 Lexus GS350 with almost 150,000 miles on it. Now if you saw one of my last videos where I showed everything actually wrong with the car, that's what I'm going to be fixing in today's video, so there's definitely a lot to do. Alright, so I'm going to do the two easiest things first, which are in my interior, and that would be replacing the shift knob here, which is very worn on the side. It's like really faded on the plastic, and the shift knob itself has just clearly been gripped and used a lot. And then second would be the control knob to actually control the navigation. That is just really worn. Clearly people's fingers have been on here a lot. So to replace the shift knob, it's very easy. You just grab the shift boot here and you just pull it down, and then all you do is twist it lefty-loosey and it just comes right off. Toyota and Lexus are probably the easiest manufacturer to replace shift knobs in. So there's my old shift knob here, and here's my new one. Instead of buying a OEM F-Sport one, I actually bought a OEM GSF or RCF shift knob, which has really nice blue and white stitching. I think it obviously does look a lot better than the F-Sport. And then to replace it, it's just reversing the order that we just did. So I'm going to put it on. I'm going to tighten it until it's actually tight. So right now it's pretty tight, but I'm going to do another rotation to actually get it really on there. Just like that. Now, when I grip it, I don't feel like it's going to, loosen itself. So I want to make sure it is perfectly straight. And then it's as simple as grabbing the shift boot again and just pulling up. And then it locks in place. Now, one thing I'm going to do in the future, it's like only $50, I'm pretty sure, but I'm going to buy the shift boot for a GSF here that actually matches the blue and white stitching. It definitely does look a little odd because obviously this is the old F-Sport shift knob and it is just white stitching and it matches the shift boot. This doesn't. Now, in my opinion, this does look so much better. The F combination of colors is so good, blue and white. I literally love that. So I definitely do need to get a shift boot to match that. Alright, and now I'm going to replace the control knob. So it's really easy to take it off. All you do is you grab on it and you just pull up, kind of like that. Alright, then here's my new one. This is actually for a 2016 GS, so when the actual facelift happens. Mine being a 2013 looks a little bit older. The 2016 has an indent in it. It just looks a little nicer. It's actually a little bit smaller, which I didn't even know that. And then to replace it, all you do is just literally push it back on. Now we're going to fix the sunroof seal on my car because my sunroof does rattle. If you're a Lexus owner, you know all about this. Over time, these sunroof seals simply just go bad, and when you're driving, it just makes the actual sunroof rattle or shake. It drives me insane. I've been meaning to do this since I got the car, so now is finally the time. So the method I'm going to be doing is, instead of actually taking out the sunroof, I'm going to be replacing it while it's still on the car. And the first step to do this is put your sunroof in the tilt mode. And then when you're in your interior, you will see these things here. This is just kind of what protects all of the actual components of the sunroof. All you do is you take it, and whichever way it slides, you can just see how it moves a little bit. You pull it a tiny bit, and then it literally just kind of pulls right off. And what we're going to be doing is taking out these two torque bits here, and then here on the other side, of course. Now, we're not going to be taking these out because we already have access to the seal since we put the sunroof in tilt mode. So all we're going to do is take these two out on the front side, and then we're going to pop the sunroof out so it kind of floats there. Now, you will need a T25 bit, and I recommend using something like this. That way you don't accidentally strip it using a screwdriver or something if you have it at the wrong angle, because I already loosened mine and they were extremely tight. And the last thing you want to do is take this out and then have to order new bolts from Lexus. Alright, so I just got both of the bolts out. Now, be careful when you're taking them out because they do want to fall in there. Both of mine did, and I had to fish them out with a different screwdriver. It was really a pain because of how hot it is outside. I kept burning my fingers. So now, after you have both of those taken out, remember we're keeping both of these in, you can push the sunroof up. And what I've done here is just grab a little box of stuff I have. Obviously, I put a microfiber to protect my paint, and I just shoved it underneath here. That way I have basically an equal gap around, so I can actually take this off and remove it. Now, one thing to note is when you are putting the new seal back on, I hope you can see that little like kind of cyan dot. It is on both sides right there. And you see those other three little lines? That lines up perfectly with the middle one. And once again here, there's 3 lines and it is lined up perfectly with the middle one. Now it should be here as well. I can't see it because of this tab here, but on the new seal, it's the same. You have the cyan little dot and there's 4 of them. Those are to mark the corners. And obviously I'll have a link in the description, but there is the OEM part number for this actual weather strip. Obviously I recommend to go OEM with this, so I will definitely leave that link in the description. So to actually remove this, you pull up on the bottom. It's kind of like a little lip. It actually grips in there and kind of like snaps in. Even though this is rubber, it actually snaps in, so you can definitely tell when it's on there right. So you pull up from the bottom and you can actually feel it. I don't know if you can hear that. And when I'm gonna put it back on now, it literally just goes in and snaps back on. So I'm going to pull that off and get that lip off all the way around. And just as I was hoping, there is the cyan dot there. That lines up with these tabs. And as you can see, it is coming off easily. Now, one thing I'm going to do to mine is I'm actually going to clean up the edge of the sunroof here. It is just really dirty. You might as well do it, and I got to clean my hands as well. As you can see, I cleaned it off. It looks a lot cleaner. It's not perfect, but it's just nice to know that it is kind of clean under there, and I'm not just putting the new seal over something that's dirty. Now it is time to put the new seal on, and just so you know, you're like, okay, what's top and bottom? I looked at the old one. The side that is closest to the actual dot is the bottom, so because this is at the very top here, I need to flip this around and put that on the bottom. All right, so I've already got this side on. As you can see, I've just done these 2 corners and then obviously the middle part here. Now I definitely recommend doing the corners first. That way you can guarantee you line up those circle dots. Here in the interior, you can see it is right there. It's right in the middle part, and then obviously here I can't really tell, but I did my best to try to line that up. And the way this goes on is you can see this massive lip right here. Underneath of that is kind of a groove, and that's where the actual sunroof goes. So the way you're gonna install this is, now that I've flipped it, you're gonna install it bottom first. So act like you're pulling up on it like this, and you'll feel it go on. And as that happens, you'll see it start to move forward, and then you can actually get the very flexible top lip, and it will go over the sunroof. Now I just finished installing it. Now when you're installing it, it will look like there's going to be some loose slack left over, but I swear there won't, even if you do all the 4 corners first, which I recommend you do. That way you line up those circles. But what you're going to want to do is make sure after you have actually put this on, that all the way around the sunroof there is no gaps. So like this little thing here can easily get stuck underneath of it. So just go ahead and make sure that doesn't happen anywhere, and run your finger across the whole thing. Make sure it's seating perfectly and it actually is in line. Mine is perfectly installed now, so all we have to do is take that off and lower the sunroof back down and put both of those bolts back in and actually test the functions. All right, so I just put the last bolt in. Obviously we took out this one and then this one over here. Now one thing is, you really do need to be careful in putting this back in. I did it with a screwdriver from the driver's seat where I'm sitting right now, and I did it at a little bit of an angle, and I ended up stripping the screw a little bit. Now I stopped immediately after I had done that, and I took the screw out obviously to see the metal was stripped and bent, but I was able to take the tiniest flathead screwdriver and bend a little bit of it back, and then trying as hard as I could to keep it straight, I was able to get it in. So I saved myself a week or whatever of waiting to get a new screw from the dealer. So just be super careful when taking them out, but especially putting them back in. So now let's go ahead and test the sunroof. So I just lowered the sunroof, and you can tell that it is actually a little bit too low, meaning I let the sunroof fall a little bit too far. So all I'm gonna do is loosen it a little bit, push this up, and then tighten it at the same time, making sure this is flush just like the back. Now after a while of messing with the bolts, loosening and untightening them to get this back to the actual original spot, my only advice is push it almost all the way up with the most small amount of give. Tighten it, and that is exactly where you want it. I actually went ahead and loosened the 2 rears as well, because they actually were sinking a little bit even though I did not touch them. You can tell kind of this is a little bit lower than this, but either way, the more flush it is against the actual panel, the more it's literally not going to move. Now before, if I put my hand here and moved, the whole sunroof would actually move. Now it does not move at all. And here's the other side for reference. You can see how flush these are. And like I said, this was literally sunken in a little bit. This wasn't. So I went ahead and did all 4 bolts, and now it's perfect. Thank you to Farron for sponsoring today's video. They actually sent me this portable tire inflator, and let me tell you, this thing is literally awesome. You can use this thing to pump basketballs or footballs, bicycles, motorcycles, and most importantly, cars. Now imagine if you're driving on the road and all of a sudden you get a flat, whether that actually be popped or your tire is just running really low PSI. If you did not have one of these, you would have no way to pump it up. So let me show you how easy it is to actually use. So to use this, I'm just going to turn it on by holding it for 3 seconds. Then use this button to cycle between modes. Obviously I'm pumping up a car tire. Then using the cable that comes in the box, go ahead and connect it to the top right here and then connect it to your tire. So now that I have it connected, one thing that is really cool is it actually gives you the PSI readout. My car should actually be right around 33 PSI, so I'm going to put it here. Then to turn it on, press the on button and watch it pump. And as you can see, when it gets to the amount of PSI you selected, it will go ahead and turn off. So normally a portable tire inflator with all of the features that this thing has would normally cost over $100 easily, and I would actually gladly pay that because I think it would be worth it. But using my link in the description, you can actually get this exact tire inflator for less than $40, and I think that is great value for money. So if you want to make sure you never end up stranded on the side of the road, or you just want to have the ease of use of something that small that can pump literally anything, then definitely make sure to get one for yourself. All right, now I'm going to take off this old worn PPF that I'm guessing is all the way from 2013, so that means it is 12 years old. You can see how bad it is. It looks like scratches, but I guess it is definitely cracked. But either way, it just looks horrible. Now I know when I take this off, you're going to easily be able to tell there was something here because the paint quality here is horrible, and here it will literally be brand new. Now I have already started here on the passenger side, and you can see where the PPF was. Obviously it went here, and in direct sunlight, I mean, yeah, let's be real here, that does not look that good. You can easily see the line. Now it is kind of a pain to take this off because as you're taking it off, it leaves behind a lot of adhesive, and you have to use Goo Gone. That's really the only thing that actually is working to get it off, and a microfiber, and really put some elbow grease into it to actually remove all of that. So I've really just done this area to test my methods here, and what I'm using to get it off is a heat gun. I apply some heat to the area I'm working on, then I turn it off. And then I was trying with a credit card here. Obviously this is not actually a credit card, and I applied this little felt tape to the end of it, which this didn't really work that well, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm using this instead. This is just one of those interior removal tools. It just helps you get little things out, and because the end of this is pointed but also soft and not scratchy at all like that credit card is, I'm using this instead. It's not nearly as convenient since the work area is a lot smaller, but what I do is I heat up the area, then I go here and I just kind of do this. I push underneath of it, and as you can see, it comes off. I'm able to do that right now because of how hot it is. Now, yes, I'm probably putting micro scratches in this. Obviously, you can tell how bad this looks here. That's just adhesive that has not been removed. Kind of in this corner here is where I have actually been able to remove all of the adhesive. I'm just gonna go ahead and try to remove the rest of it. I'll use the heat gun whenever I need to. I just try to get more of this off here. That's why the video cut. But I'm able to do it honestly without the heat gun because of how blazing hot it is outside right now. But in your case, you might need to use a heat gun. All right, now I just finished getting all of that off, and you can see how bad it looks right now. And obviously it does because the adhesive is still on here. So what I'm gonna do is take a microfiber here, and I'm gonna put some alcohol on it. I just have 70% alcohol right here. I'm gonna put that on it and wipe it off to get kind of that thick adhesive off. And then after that, I'm gonna spray a Goo Gone all over it, let it soak, and keep using a different microfiber and kind of buffing all of that adhesive off until we can get it to kind of look like that, where there's nothing there. Now you can tell what it's looking like. It still looks absolutely atrocious with all of these spots where the adhesive still is, but that general thick layer is completely gone. That's what I use the rubbing alcohol for. Now it's time to get your Goo Gone and spray it all over the mirror and let it soak as good as you can. All right, now finally, after like 20 minutes of scrubbing like crazy with these microfibers and Goo Gone and, you know, buffing it off with alcohol, whatever you want to call it, this is the finished product. This is what we're working with. Now, one mistake I did make is I was using this to get some of the high spots off that I just could not buff off. And I ended up going a little too hard, and I gave myself a paint chip on this area that's never actually seen the real elements, you know, for 12 years. So that's what I just did. That sucks. I need to get a paint pen anyway because this car has more scratches than you can even count. But either way, from even a small distance, it is night and day. It looks so much better. And honestly, I mean, yeah, of course, if you get in this very harsh light, you can, I mean, so easily see the line where the PPF was. But from most angles, I mean, it just looks like a mirror cap. And just for quick reference, this is what it used to look like. So you pick whatever one you like better. I obviously like what I just did better than this. So now I got to do this side. That way it can look as good as this does. All right, now I'm going to replace my hood struts since they are both completely blown. Now that's not fully true right now because I actually have already done this. I just want to briefly show you how to do it. So these are new ones I bought actually off of a 2020 crashed Lexus GS with only 30,000 miles. So these are basically brand new. I paid like, I think $80 for the pair. I definitely saved a lot of money, and you know, obviously they're OEM. So hopefully you can see this little like metal retaining clip here and that little notch right there. All you need to do this, it's literally the easiest thing, is a flathead screwdriver, and you're just going to push this in this groove. So get it up in there as good as you can, and then twist and kind of pull back at the same time, just like that. As you can see now, it's off. Now I can pull the old one off. Now it is identical on the bottom, so I don't need to show you that. It's literally the exact same. And I don't know if you can tell, but there's some green grease here. I recommend cleaning off the old grease. It's probably gonna be super like dirty and grimy because it has some dirt in it. Go ahead and clean that off with a paper towel. And before you put your new struts on, go ahead and put some grease on it, because the last thing you want is your hood to squeak whenever you open and close it. So I'm just gonna pretend this is me putting the new one on, which obviously it is the new one. So you put it on, it kind of snaps in place, and go ahead and push that clip right back on. And I'm just gonna use the screwdriver and make sure it's seating perfectly, which it looks like it is. Twist it, it's not coming off anywhere. And that is how you replace your hood struts. Literally any struts are gonna be just like this. They're gonna have this metal piece. Put the screwdriver in there, pull it off, put the new one on. It could not be any easier. So yeah, my car does look a lot better now that I've done all of those fixes. My interior definitely looks a lot better with that GSF shift knob, and it does not rattle and squeak as much now because I fixed the sunroof seal. But there are still many things I have to do to this car to actually kind of fully fix it and kind of bring it back to life. And one of those things would be restoring the headlights. Now this driver's side, if you watched my video where I showed everything wrong with the car, was in a crash 2 times, which that does suck a lot. But because of that, this headlight was replaced. So no, I'm not restoring this headlight. You can tell it looks perfect. But if I go to this headlight, you can see how worn and oxidized it is. There is some bug splatter in here. This car is extremely dirty right now, so it does not look the best. But either way, you can see in this corner here how yellow it is. Can even hear it and feel it. It is horrible, so I do need to restore this headlight. And then one of the other major things I need to do is get a freshly painted bumper. Either I buy a new bumper and get it painted, or I just get this bumper repainted.
The paint quality is absolutely terrible. Once again, because it was in a crash 2 times, this got repainted by a shop with some crappy paint, or they just used some really bad methods, but it did not hold up at all. Hopefully you can see all of these rock chips. Now, literally 95% of this probably is rock chips. Maybe there's a tiny bit of bugs, but this is actually how bad it looks. So definitely stay tuned for those videos. I will be making a video very shortly actually restoring the headlights and going through the process, and I will actually be PPFing the headlights to make sure they never fade again. So you will not want to miss that video. All right, everybody, that will basically wrap up today's video. So if you do enjoy watching videos like this where I basically fix things on my car, or do DIY things, maintenance, or if you just like to see me kind of working on cars, definitely hit that subscribe button, and also comment down below if you like to see those types of videos. I still have a lot to do to this car. It is so far from perfect, and obviously it has so many miles on it, so that is to be expected, but I know I can repair this car and kind of bring it back to life, or at least kind of make it feel like it's back in 2013. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you stayed till the end, you're a real one, and I'll see you next time.